just in the air.
Okay, so this is kind of a general about both topics. Daryl Glasgow Jr.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Daryl.
Daryl, we appreciate your question. It is, why doesn't he know that Christianity is only sun worship and astrology and JR keep contradicting himself? He loves your reaction.
Okay.
I love Daryl.
Is he asking me why don't I know that Christianity is sun worship?
Yeah, and
no.
astrology and JR keep contradicting
like I
himself.
said, the Catholics are the ones who came up with the heliocentric model. Copernicus was a Catholic priest, okay, and so if you associate the Catholics, what?
He must have been an evil priest to go to that model.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I am not gonna say
if he intentionally did it or unintentionally did it. He
Yeah,
threw everybody off.
Yeah, the Jesuits, the Jesuit priests.
Okay.
Jesuits is a huge order to even to this day, and as a matter of fact, the person who came up with the Big Bang, his last name was Lamarck or Lamarck, George Lamarck.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a Catholic priest.
Okay.
The guy who came up the guy who came up with the Big Bang Theory was a Catholic.
What was I guess Daryl, make it like a one sentence thing, a one sentence question.
It was.
Oh, it was? Okay. Well,
did I answer it?
Yeah, could you ask?
Why doesn't he know that Christianity is only sun worship and astrology and Junior keep contradicting himself?
Astrology and Junior keeps contradicting himself. Okay, well, I answered the first part of it. Why doesn't he know that Christianity is sun worship? That's where it goes back to Copernicus and that sort of thing. If you associate Catholicism with Christianity, then you will see Christianity as being sun worship, because Catholicism, Catholics are the ones who came up with the heliocentric model, and I agree with that. But myself, I am not a Catholic, and I personally separate Catholics from Christianity. Even though the Catholics were the original Christian church, there was a separation at the Protestant Revolution with Martin Luther and that sort of thing. And I'm definitely a Protestant. I'm not a Catholic. So Catholics, and plus I even said the Catholics are not Christians. And then even more than that, I even separate. There's another level of Christians who are not even believers, who are not saved, and therefore not going to heaven.
So I'm Episcopalian.
Clean lives. They're very moral people.
You're going to hell, bro.
Yeah, and that's in the Catholic Apostolic Church. And I'm Episcopalian. Am I safe?
Well, you need Jesus. You need to believe.
I go to the Church of Incarnation.
If you believe in Jesus,
I do.
Okay, as your Lord and Savior.
Yes.
Okay, then and you. Okay, then that's it. I told you I believe in easy believers.
Okay.
Okay.
I was about to change.
So it's yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you're Junior, G-Man?
Yeah, I'm G-Man. Yeah.
Are you Junior? It says you're Junior.
No, I'm not Junior.
What does that say?
Kat said that you're Junior. Junior keeps contradicting himself.
Oh, she's calling me Junior.
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Derogatory.
Darrell was calling me Junior.
You already have it.
Hey, we got you a juice box, Junior.
Yeah. She's saying that I keep contradicting myself.
That's what Darrell said.
That's insane.
I'd like her to point.
Calm down, internet.
Darrell,
I'd like her to point out my contradiction.
She confirmed. She was confirming that Darrell was calling you Junior.
Oh, okay.
So I mean,
okay.
We're throwing blame on her that she did not deserve.
Yeah.
But she cleared up what JR and Junior was for astrology and sun worship.
Oh.
He had too many ands in a Oxford comma in his sentence, and it messed me up.
Well,
okay.
Or a lack of an Oxford comma.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess what's the end game in all this? Like, what's the thing you want to achieve?
The end game?
Yeah, the end game.
Oh, I want to help people go to heaven. I want everybody to go to heaven as many people as possible.
So when people get into Uber, do you bring this up?
No. Unfortunately, Uber has a rating system that will not allow us to have freedom of speech.
Is there any way that we can request you by name? Because
Not through the Uber app. You can call me up, and then I
Okay.
can come give you a ride.
Because I mean, Ubering with you didn't want me, not a flat earther. What is it?
Wait,
Is it? What you didn't want me to call you?
Enclosed
flat earther.
Enclosed cosmology. Yeah,
Enclosed cosmology.
Yeah, because the
with
flat
Grant
Earth.
Phillips.
Yeah, the straight up flat Earth.
Right.
Yeah, the straight up flat Earth term. It has too many associations to what the government and scientists and everybody want us to believe about flat Earth.
Mhm.
Okay, and I'll describe that one.
So you think there's a lot of false information also being shoved in the faces of?
And it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
What do you mean?
All it takes is that image of a boat going over an edge, and and a giant waterfall.
What's the explanation for that? About going over.
Where is the edge?
Yes. Yeah, where is the edge?
Okay.
Can we go?
Yeah.
Why has no one
Even
tried
better
this?
question.
Why
Okay.
has no one
What
gone
happens
to the edge?
yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah, there's a
we've
lot of
explored a lot of the. I mean, go
Yeah,
ahead. I'll
yeah,
let you
yeah.
take it.
and this is also one of the reasons that I believe the Earth is flat. No, number one, nobody has ever circumnavigated the globe from North Pole to the South Pole back to the North Pole. This has never happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they have people and they have videos of people, going out and
North Pole to North Pole.
yeah, and North Pole, South Pole.
So yeah, all the way.
Yeah, and then they have people going out and saying that they have gone to the North Pole. You got those videos of people. They're stepping, saying 1 step, 2 or 10 steps, 9 steps, 8 steps. 1 step. Oh, we're at the North Pole! Yay! You got people who recorded videos of that, and they're standing on an expanse of ice that that there's nothing up there, and it's just super cold.
How would you explain different?
So we have a comment on that.
Okay.
We have a fact on that from Guinness World Records. Is that
Right.
credible? It's not Wikipedia.
Oh, you got to understand that the whole flat Earth issue is the ultimate controversy. No, wait, no, conspiracy. It's the ultimate conspiracy.
I think that's why it's so juicy for you. You're like, if this is true,
Yeah.
99% of everybody else is wrong.
Right.
And I got it, and it's my thing. And
Well, it's not my thing. I
Right,
learned it. Let me throw out a few names.
Go ahead.
Number one, Rob Skiba, Mark Sargent, Jaron Campanella,
Mhm.
ODD, Overdose Denver. He's a rapper from Denver, but he does a lot of research on the flat Earth. Robbie Davidson, okay, and Patricia Steer,
Okay.
D. Marble.
We'll give you time. I'm sure there's a lot to go.
Okay,
Go
okay.
ahead.
So it's
Jake,
called,
I also like to throw out there Jake Gibson.
Sure.
He's okay, but go ahead.
yeah, we'll maybe even mention them. And
Okay.
since I list their names, your influences.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So this is called surface circumnavigation by
Okay,
way of both of the geographical poles. It was achieved in August of 1982
Mhm.
out of Greenwich, United Kingdom, by Sir Ranulph Fiennes and Charles Burton
Mhm.
of the British Transglobe Expedition.
now like I said, there are accounts of people making it. Okay, and of course I would fully expect that the Guinness World Record would say, hey, it's been done. Okay, there it is. Okay, I would fully expect that. Okay,
To be in on it, to provide
like I said, it's
the
a
heliocentric theory.
now the person who wrote it, the person who wrote the book, okay, he probably never went on the trip. The people who went on the trip, they would have to be like the astronauts. They would have to been on it.
they're lying too. Maybe I'll text him after I text Elon Musk.
Yeah.
But it says they went from Greenwich, London, UK in September, crossed the South Pole in, that was 79, crossed the South Pole in December of 1980, and the North Pole in April of 82, and returned to Greenwich on August 1982.
Yeah, there's several. There's
a
been
3-year, 35,000-mile journey.
Yeah.
And it's discussed.
Now, there's been several. There's been several expeditions. Okay, they aren't the only ones who have gone down there. Okay, and it's just. But the truth is, you can't reach the South Pole. There is no. They have what is called Operation Deep Freeze that goes down to. Now, this is just what I've heard. Okay, I'm just regurgitating.
Words on the grapevine, yeah.
Okay. But I think this is I'm pretty sure that this is fact. They have Operation Deep Freeze that goes down there every year. It's a military thing that goes down there every year, and they do exercises and stuff like that. But they do not have any missions that goes beyond a certain point in Antarctica. Okay, you cannot. There's nobody that has ever crossed Antarctica from one beach to the other. I'm talking like you can cross. You know how you can cross United States. You can go from east shore to west shore. Okay. And
so
but there's nobody who's gone from like the east shore to the west shore of Antarctica.
If someone did that, before you look it up, if someone did that, would that disprove the flat Earth?
Well, first off, I would have to.
Would you accept that?
I would have to. I mean, because those people are claiming to have done it, essentially.
Sure, yeah.
Those people are claiming to have done it.
Liars.
Okay, and then there's a lot of people who claim. Back to the astronauts. There's a lot of people who claim to know astronauts, who went up into space, and then there's Michael Irwin. I think he was actually. He actually claimed to be a professing Christian and in the church and everything, and and he went into space. And then there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I know an astronaut. Right. Astronauts are good people, and they would not lie to us." And
who would you believe? Like, if it was like
who would I believe in?
Yeah, that if
this
they
point
went from one place to the other, and they're like, "Look, I did it."
Yeah, at this point. I believe that we would need a lot less secrecy in our government. I believe that at this point, I mean, like, it would take them.
What if you did it? What if you did it with a guide?
What if I did it?
Yeah, with a guide.
That would be a lot of fun. I would love to.
But like at the end of your trip,
however, we are talking about going in. However, we are talking about going into.
Would you trust your own senses?
Oh,
would you be like? I mean, do you believe your own eyes? Like,
sure. I mean, if it were safe. If my safety, if my safety could be guaranteed,
or if you flew it,
because down in the Arctic, it's one of the most, it's one of the most extreme climates down there that exists on the planet, and it's super cold. Okay, now let me bring up a very interesting character named Admiral Richard Byrd. This guy was essentially Indiana Jones times 10. Okay, he was actually one of the first people to go down there, and he came back and he told us that there is landmass down there. How big? I think he said it's the size of the United States. There's another landmass down there, unexplored by humans, that is the size of the United States, and the positioning that he put it, if the Earth is a globe, assuming the Earth is a globe. But where he said it was, where he said it was, the position where he put it would be in the Indian Ocean. It's another huge continent that he described. Okay, and and that's what he described whenever he came back. He said that Antarctica is a place that is rich in resources. Tons of coal, tons of thorium, or I don't know if he said thorium, but stuff like that. Very, very, very rich in minerals.
Governments are hoarding it, or
Oh yeah, our governments they signed a contract.
So nobody goes to the South Pole.
Huh?
So nobody goes to the South Pole.
Well, allegedly, according to this, anybody can go to the South Pole for scientific reasons. Okay, but try going down there. Try it.
For vacation or for scientific reasons?
Scientific reasons.
It's still tough, you're saying?
You can't just go down there. You've got to have really good backing. You've got to.
Nobody then just
you got to be in on
it. Yeah, nobody just goes to Antarctica just to do it.
To surf.
Right. Nobody does that. It's too cold. The only life that exists down there is penguins, polar bears.
What do they think? Are they guarding it? They're
No.
guarding all the resources.
No, they're actually guarding they're guarding
The penguins are?
No, the government.
Okay.
The government and military
I was about to be
is
100% on board.
actually guarding. Yeah, but they're actually guarding Antarctica. I think it's 41 countries signed a what's the word? Not a petition.
Treaty.
Treaty. Yeah, 41 countries signed a treaty
saying that.
The treaty it says that no military involvement can happen at Antarctica. No country or nation can own Antarctica or any land on it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody owns any of it, and it's only for peaceful use purposes, for scientific purposes, and that sort of thing. But again,
confirmed.
Yeah.
With the Department of State in 1959, enacted in 61. It's demilitarized the Antarctic continent and provided for its cooperation, exploration, and future use.
Right, and it doesn't end until the year 2041 or something like that.
Is that when the stars are going to fall down?
I don't know.
Nobody knows that day.
Yeah, that's.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I think the stars.
Three umbrellas.
The stars are supposed to fall down during the tribulation, the 7-year tribulation. But anyways.
Okay, so then why we cannot go to the South Pole?
Yeah, 3.
We can't.
We can for scientific purposes.
Can we go to the North Pole for any reason? I know. I think people do make that trek. I think people do.
Oh,
that.
No. The North Pole, I think, is blocked off also. The North Pole is they do not allow people to go. You
So
cannot
there's like
actually
70 flags in everybody's country.
on the enclosed on the enclosed cosmology model, Polaris is at the center of the Earth. Okay, the North Pole is at the center of the Earth. Everything, Polaris is the North Star, and everything encircles Polaris above us. The sun, moon, and stars are what's moving. The Bible says this. The sun, moon, and stars are what moves. The Earth does not move. Okay? So you got Polaris on the North Pole, and it is, and everything is circling around Polaris. Okay? And one massive circle above us. Remember I told you the Earth is the floor of the universe?
I remember.
Okay, well, you've got the Earth and all the continents, and you on the ball model. Okay, on the ball model, you got the North Pole and the South Pole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, take the ball model, and now you've got only the North Pole. Antarctica is no longer a continent. Antarctica is a rim that encircles.
It's a wall of ice.
Yes. Okay. Minimal
wall of
research.
ice.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep. Antarctica is it encircles everything. It holds all the water in, and actually Eddie Bravo. I was watching a video with him, and he actually described it as something of a crater. We exist inside of a crater.
I love how he's citing Eddie Bravo.
Well, who else would you cite for
legitimate.
Yeah.
That's legitimate.
Oh, right.
No. Well, Eddie Bravo, he understands it too. I'm just saying he understands.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So there are Arctic cruises that will take you to the North Pole. It does shrink in size.
there's no land underneath it. It's frozen ice.
Yeah.
And there's actually, it talks about the two magnetic poles and the terrestrial pole.
Right.
So I guess that brings up questions. Are there comments on the terrestrial, the poles, the magnetic poles, and things like that? The distinction of them based on the enclosed cosmology?
Well, the South Pole, okay, the magnetic poles, they move around. Okay,
so you do believe that?
Yeah. Well,
they move.
That's what the ball teaches.
Right.
That's what happens on the ball. The magnetic
close.
poles, they fluctuate. Okay, they do fluctuate according to the ball model. Okay. However, on the the model for enclosed cosmology, okay, there is no South Pole. Okay. There is two theories, and that's what the reason one of them is called the enclosed cosmology. Okay, the enclosed cosmology indicates that we are under a dome, and the dome encloses us. That's why it's called the enclosed cosmology. The other theory is that the firmament is actually just above us. Okay, and we live on an infinite plane. And there's a puddle. All the oceans, all the four oceans, Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and I missed one. Atlantic. The Arctic is up north. Okay, but anyways, it's just a giant mud puddle with the continents just sticking out of sticking out of the ocean. It's like kind of like a giant petri dish. I've heard it described as or a crater. That's what Eddie Bravo said. I heard him say it the other day. It's like a crater, okay? And we live inside of this crater, okay? And then if you go out far enough, there's possibilities that there could be other Earth ponds, okay? So
with life,
just like we have it. So the extraterrestrials that we referenced earlier, the UFOs that we referenced earlier, they might not be coming from millions of miles out from other planets. They might just be coming from thousands of miles out on the other Earth ponds.
I like that. I'm starting to kind of consider this enclosed cosmology.
Do we have? You've opened. Is anyone still listening?
Yes.
Would anyone like to submit a question while I process what's going on?